Serious question: do Ron DeSantis's lift boots help or hurt his campaign? The estimated height of Ron DeSantis is 5 feet 7. In the first debate, DeSantis was noticeably taller than his 5 feet 10 opponent Mike Pence. This means that his boots contain somewhere between around 4–5 inches of lift. This might just be something the chronically online deal with, but it appears that his boots have received a substantial amount of media attention. So it begs the question: does this height boost help or hurt his campaign? I should note that this is a serious question, because appearance is something that has been seen to play a major role in American politics. We haven't had a bald president since Eisenhower or a facial-haired president since Teddy Roosevelt. Appearance is absolutely a factor in who gets elected. Ron DeSantis has two options: embrace his shorter height, or take the boost to a more politically acceptable height while people know that height is artificial. Which do you think would be better for his overall image? The lifts didn't help him even remotely enough to offset the damage that the knowledge of them has done. Can you imagine how many phrases Trump has tried out waiting for their first debate? Little Ron, Shorty Ron, Ron the Dwarf. Trump's toilet meditation time has probably come up with 24 so far. Conservatives respond to strength and being a fighter who's tough and mean. DeSantis already comes off as creepy, fake and weak. The fact that he's not confident enough to just be himself and project authenticity and has to wear a fake person costume affects people on a subconscious level. You don't take him seriously or believe anything he says. Nothing is real with him. Biden is 6 feet. The taller candidate usually wins, and there's no way Trump is 6 feet 3. I mean, the guy is basically a national laughingstock at this point and has no shot whatsoever of being president. Not sure what he thinks he's doing out there, honestly. He is just performing in high heels and makeup. I hope he doesn't do that in Florida. Have you seen him try to smile at the debates? Zero personality, creepily awkward, and a campaign built entirely on wokeness. A topic that doesn't play nationally. He's polling at 14. He is not a serious candidate. The high heels are a funny meme, but they're irrelevant because he has no chance. His campaign is already toast, so the lift boots are just another thing to throw on the pile. Who cares? He isn't going to be the Republican candidate. He isn't relevant. He looks so much like a phony with a Napoleon complex with those boots. He would have done better to put on muscle to get himself up to a solid 190 pounds in good fitted suits. Instead, he looks like a clown. Being the younger and only robust, physically fit candidate in the whole race would have done a lot for his campaign. If you're willing to lie about something so fucking pointless, you'll lie about something that's extremely important. Dudes like Hannah Montana, willing to live a complete lie to appear a couple inches taller. What lengths will he go to hide things that actually matter? Trick question. DeSantis doesn't have a campaign. Donald Trump is already the presumptive nominee, and with the outright refusal to engage Trump in any meaningful way by all the candidates but Christie, this is a pundit position book deal tour. By the time the DeSantis is in another election in which the meme could have effect in a few years, the memory will have long since been forgotten by the American public. He wears high heels, and clearly a man in Florida wearing high heels is a drag queen. It's just further evidence of his unseriousness. Instead of trying to help Floridians, he fights the woke war and worries about his height. And yes, the fact that Trump can get points from Republicans for calling people short just makes it all the worse. The next GOP debate will see DeSantis strolling onto the stage in big black clown shoes with 6 lifts. Lol, guy wearing high heels. Don't say gay. It really is pathetic and the sign of a small man with no confidence. Maybe the nail in the coffin of his campaign. If he had any kind of reasonable, rational policies or beliefs, I might overlook the high heels. As it is, he is a fascist sicko who only seems to want to take away freedoms, shit all over the Constitution and hurt people. In short, the lifts in his shoes are the least of my concerns. I wouldn't vote for him if he could be 5'5" or 6'5". Piece of shit comes in all sizes. Now that it's revealed, the insincerity just adds to an already challenged campaign. Once people know about it, they scream insecurity. Not sure people want an insecure president, especially when you exude a certain weaseliness to begin with. Makes no difference. What comes out of his mouth is the only thing relevant. Do you want someone that insecure to be a leader? I can say firsthand he's a shitty leader since I live in Florida. But that insecurity is just another layer of petty on top of his stupid. The only people who care about this are progressives. I don't think most Democrats give a shit. Clinton got flack because of her suit, her hair, whatever. Trump looks like an abortion of a person and I wouldn't even know where to start. I wouldn't underestimate DeSantis. If Trump for some reason has to drop out of the race, Republicans are going to aggressively throw all their support behind DeSantis. Redditor Democrats must be irony challenged to mock DeSantis for wearing lifts. Given that Joe Biden had hair implants years ago and sure looks like he's had a lot of facelifts. The left will always say who they fear the most. Little Ron got you all scared as a VP pick for the DJTPOTUS stake through your bleeding vampire liberal hearts and President Trump's second term. As president will not be about coming together with liberals. Can't wait for the purge. The lift boots are a fun little distraction to think on. I'd say that the lift boots, and knowing about them, hurt his campaign. He isn't naturally tall, and he's compensating. People in leadership positions having embarrassing personal secrets is a problem. It exposes them to potential influence from others, blackmail, and all sorts of other unsavory characteristics that would typically render someone ineligible for security clearances, let alone high-level executive positions. It's the lying, not the lifts. Fess up and move on, or be a liar, which doesn't hurt in the Republican Party, therefore he lies. My feelings on it aside, I don't know that they enrich his campaign. Maybe if he's hoping people at least don't notice, that could be considered a win. But as others have said, people who do know mock him, and it would literally be the first thing Trump points out. DeSantis isn't confident. The lifts are proof he isn't confident, and projecting confidence is one of the only things that base cares about. Anytime politician height comes up for any reason, I'm reminded of an old professor of mine. He'd be giving his lecture, going on long, detailed dives on electoral politics or the different components of a political party or whatever. Then he'd get to the end, sigh and slump his shoulders a bit before saying some version of "then again." The taller candidate usually wins, so maybe none of what I just said matters. Very funny guy. Great professor. And maybe DeSantis was actually in that class with me and took that but way too seriously. It puts his insecurities on full display. If he owned it, and could laugh at himself, it would humanize him and there would be nothing to talk about. Hell, maybe he just likes to stand on his tippy toes. Who knows or cares? He won't acknowledge it though because it makes him feel weak. But by deflecting and denying it, everyone can see he is weak. His campaign has been dead in the water from day one. If Trump weren't running and he did have a chance, the boots would have been the stupid kind of story that dominates conversation. He'd have presidential candidates daring him to take off his shoes. Biden could even do that.